For over a decade, they've seen the biggest complaint about electric vehicles has been the same. The charging takes too long. You cannot just pull into a station, top off, and leave like you would with a gas-powered car. Tesla built an entire empire around this problem. The supercharger network became so reliable and widespread that people bought Teslas specifically because they knew they could road trip without anxiety. That advantage was supposed to last for years. Then BYD walked onto the stage in Shenzhen last month and changed everything. The Chinese automaker unveiled a charging system that fills an electric vehicle battery from 10% to 97% in 9 minutes. Not an hour, not 30 minutes. That is roughly the same time it takes to refuel a car with gasoline, grab a coffee, and check your phone while waiting in line. And the numbers get even more ridiculous when you break them down. From 10% to 70% capacity in just 5 minutes. Even in brutal cold weather, where electric vehicle batteries typically slow to a crawl, their system charges from 20% to 97% in 12 minutes at negative 30 degrees Celsius. So why did BYD stop at 97%? Company chairman Wang Chuanfu explained they reserved the final 3% for regenerative braking. That tiny buffer makes the entire system more efficient. This is the Blade Battery 2.0 combined with a 1.5 megawatt flash charging station. If those specs mean nothing to you yet, here's the comparison that matters. Tesla's current V3 Superchargers, the ones you see at rest stops and shopping centers across America and Europe, deliver 250 kilowatts of power. Their newest V4 stations in China push 500 kilowatts. BYD's flash charging stations deliver 3 times that power through a single cable. The charging stations look completely different from anything you have seen before. They use a T-shaped tower design with cables that drape from overhead, almost like gas station pumps. This design serves a purpose beyond aesthetics. The cables are heavy because they carry enormous amounts of electricity, and having them suspended from above makes them easier to handle and prevents them from dragging on the ground. To understand why this matters, you need to understand how charging speed actually works. It is not just about pushing more electricity into a battery. The battery itself has to be capable of accepting that electricity without overheating, degrading, or catching fire. This is where BYD's real innovation lives. The Blade Battery 2.0 uses a lithium iron phosphate chemistry, commonly called LFP. Western automakers have historically dismissed LFP batteries because they have lower energy density than other chemistries. That means for the same weight, an LFP battery stores less energy than alternatives like NMC. This is why most American and European automakers reserve LFP for their cheaper, shorter range models. BYD took a different approach. They engineered an LFP battery that charges fast, making the range disadvantage almost irrelevant. Their new battery achieves an average charging rate of 7.2 C, with peaks exceeding 10 C. For context, the fastest charging electric vehicles in America typically peak around 3 C to 4 C. BYD is more than double that sustained rate. The secret is molecular level engineering of the solid electrolyte interphase layer. This is a thin coating that forms on battery electrodes during charging and discharging. In most batteries, this layer grows thicker over time, reducing efficiency, and eventually killing the battery. BYD claims their version is both ultra-thin and self-repairing, which allows faster ion transfer while maintaining durability. They also enhance the thermal management system to handle the heat generated during megawatt-level charging. The company demonstrated this technology in the real world using a Denza Z9 GT. Their luxury electric shooting brake. They drove the car until the battery dropped to 9% with about 93 kilometers of range remaining. Then they plugged into a flash charging station and recorded the results. The battery climbed from 9% to 97% in just over 9 minutes, adding nearly 1,000 kilometers of range on the Chinese testing cycle. Even accounting for the more realistic EPA testing standards used in the United States, that translates to roughly 400 miles of range in 9 minutes. Compare this to the current American benchmark. The Lucid Gravity, one of the fastest charging vehicles available in the United States, can add about 200 miles of EPA-rated range in 11 minutes, when connected to a 350 kilowatt charger. BYD is adding twice the range in roughly the same time. Here's another way to think about the speed. BYD vehicles equipped with flash charging can add approximately 2 kilometers of driving range per second while connected to the charger. That rate is faster than any other passenger vehicle on the market. The closest competitor is Li Auto, another Chinese manufacturer whose vehicles can reach 500 kilometers of range in 12 minutes. Tesla Superchargers take about 15 minutes to add 275 kilometers. The gap between Chinese charging technology and everything else is measured in minutes, not seconds. This technology is not staying locked inside expensive luxury vehicles. That is perhaps the most significant part of the announcement. BYD has already confirmed flash charging capability for the Song Ultra electric vehicle, which starts at just $22,000 in China. In its first month on sale, the Song Ultra received over 37,000 orders. According to market research from CarFans, 70% of buyers opted for the longer range version specifically because of the fast charging capability. This is mass market adoption of technology that was supposed to remain exclusive for years. The company also announced flash charging upgrades for the Yuan Plus, sold as the Atto 3 outside China. This crossover was the 13th best-selling electric vehicle globally in 2025, with over 220,000 units sold. Bringing ultra-fast charging to this volume model signals that BYD is not treating this as a premium feature. The infrastructure rollout matches the vehicle strategy. As of March 2026, BYD has built 4,239 flash charging stations across China, covering 310 cities. They plan to expand to 20,000 stations by the end of 2026, nearly quintupling their network in 10 months. Each station includes grid-scale batteries to relieve pressure on the electrical grid during peak demand. Europe is next. BYD introduced the Denza Z9 GT in Paris earlier this month as their first flash charging vehicle outside China. The car starts at 115,000 euros, positioning it against the Porsche Taycan and other luxury electric performance vehicles. Executive Vice President Stella Lee introduced a slogan for the European market that captures the capability. Ready in 5, full in 9, cold add 3. That means 5 minutes to 70%, 9 minutes to full, and add 3 minutes for extreme cold weather. The company committed to building 3,000 flash charging stations across Europe within 12 months. That aggressive timeline demonstrates the difference between Chinese infrastructure deployment and Western approaches. In America, installing even a single high-power charging station can take months of permitting, grid studies, and construction coordination. This creates an interesting strategic question for Tesla. For years, the supercharger network represented Tesla's most defensible competitive advantage. Even when competitors built better cars or offered lower prices, Tesla owners could rely on seamless charging anywhere in the United States. The network now includes over 17,000 stalls in the United States alone, and Tesla opened it to non-Tesla vehicles through the NACS standard. This was supposed to cement their dominance for the foreseeable future. BYD's flash charging does not eliminate the supercharger advantage overnight. The technology requires both the vehicle and the charging station to support megawatt-level power transfer. In markets where BYD has not built infrastructure, their fast charging vehicles will still charge at standard speeds on public networks. This creates a chicken and egg problem that Tesla already solved a decade ago. The critical difference is execution speed. BYD is deploying thousands of stations per month in China while expanding globally. They have vertically integrated the entire system, building their own batteries, vehicles, and charging infrastructure. Tesla pioneered this approach, but BYD has matched it while adding genuinely superior charging technology. Cold weather performance deserves special attention because it has been the Achilles heel of electric vehicles since the beginning. In freezing temperatures, lithium-ion batteries become sluggish. Chemical reactions slow down, internal resistance increases, and charging speeds plummet. This is why road trips through cold climates remain challenging for electric vehicle owners who must plan around reduced range and extended charging stops. BYD's Blade Battery 2.0 addresses this directly. Their demonstration showed the battery charging from 20 to 97% in just 12 minutes at minus 30 degrees Celsius. That temperature would turn most electric vehicle batteries into sluggish bricks that take an hour or more to charge. The company attributes this to the enhanced thermal management system and the self-repairing electrolyte layer that maintains ion conductivity even in extreme cold. This solves a real problem that has limited electric vehicle adoption in northern climates. Scandinavian countries, Canada, and northern United States all experience conditions where current electric vehicle charging infrastructure becomes painfully slow during winter months. The business implications extend beyond consumer vehicles. Commercial fleets have resisted electrification partly because downtime for charging represents lost revenue. A delivery truck that needs 30 minutes at a charging station between routes loses money compared to one that refuels in 5 minutes. Ultra-fast charging changes that calculation entirely. BYD's technology could accelerate commercial fleet electrification by making electric trucks operationally equivalent to diesel vehicles. Safety deserves mention because megawatt-level charging sounds potentially dangerous. BYD claims their system passed a simultaneous flash charging and nail penetration test, maintaining zero thermal runaway after 500 high-power charging cycles. Thermal runaway is the technical term for a battery catching fire, and preventing it during extreme charging stress demonstrates robust safety engineering. The competitive response from Western automakers remains uncertain. Ford Chief Executive Officer Jim Farley warned this week that allowing Chinese automakers to sell vehicles in the United States would devastate American manufacturers because they simply cannot match the technology or the prices. Import tariffs and trade restrictions may protect American automakers from direct competition, but they cannot prevent the technology gap from widening. General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis have all scaled back their electric vehicle investments, following the cancellation of federal subsidies under the Trump administration. Meanwhile, BYD is pouring resources into next-generation technology that makes current Western electric vehicles look outdated before they even reach production. This creates a concerning scenario for the global automotive industry. Chinese manufacturers are advancing so rapidly that even Tesla, the company that pioneered the modern electric vehicle industry, appears to be falling behind in core charging technology. Warren Buffett, and Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway sold their final BYD shares in 2025 after returning more than 20 times their original 2008 investment. The timing suggests even savvy investors recognize BYD was reaching a ceiling in Western markets due to trade barriers, not technological limitations. The question for consumers comes down to availability. If you live in China, flash charging already represents a genuine option for your next vehicle purchase. The technology works, the infrastructure exists, and prices are falling rapidly. The Song Ultra electric vehicle at $22,000 with 9-minute charging capability is simply not available anywhere else in the world. European buyers will gain access over the next year as BYD builds out their flash charging network and expands their vehicle lineup. The Denza Z9 GT at €115,000 targets the premium market, but cheaper models will follow as they always do with BYD. American consumers face the most challenging situation. Trade barriers effectively block BYD from selling vehicles in the United States, and there is no indication that flash charging stations will be built on American soil. This means the fastest charging electric vehicles available to American buyers will remain significantly slower than what Chinese consumers can purchase today. The technology gap is real and growing wider. 9 minutes to full charge is no longer a laboratory demonstration or a press release promise. It is happening right now on streets across China and soon across Europe. The electric vehicle industry just changed, and not everyone is ready for what comes next.